our dynamic and illustrious Vice President, the Honorable Jeremiah Malcolm Sr., the Honorable Director General of the President's Cabinet, the Honorable Kani Nkwabo, the Chairman of the Nimba County Legislative Caucus and members of the caucus, the Superintendent General, the Superintendent of the Great Nimba Council, and the Superintendent of the Superintendent's Council of the Republic of Nigeria. Call me up there, other superintendents here today, other distinguished colleagues of the President's Cabinet, esteemed heads of government, ministries, agencies, commission, state-owned enterprises, excellencies, heads of mission, representatives of international and development partners, our special friend who is going to present to us the proclamation of 2026 Public Service Day. Our local government officials, our beautifully and elegantly dressed traditional leaders, the chiefs, of course, our cherished employees of government, distinguished public servants, our good friends, the media, my dear colleagues of the great civil service agency of the Republic of Nigeria, esteemed and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Vice President, please allow me to do something that was not part of my script. We quietly sat and listened to our esteemed clergyman who invoked God's presence on this occasion. He read from Nehemiah. He made reference to the long-standing and entrenched culture of suffering of this nation, economic hardship. He made references, and in his own word, quote unquote, that's a disgrace. Mr. Clergyman, I don't disagree that it's a disgrace. But what I disagree with, that in this time is a disgrace. I disagree with that, and I know everybody in this hall disagree that what was a disgrace before is not a disgrace anymore. Because the roles are being constructed. Because government employees are receiving salaries on time for the first time. Even though we acknowledge that it doesn't meet our expectations, but this government has demonstrated a commitment of improving salaries and wages, and that is happening, and it's happening incrementally. Maybe the clergyman forgot about that. Probably he also forgot that there is now a law, the Local Government Act of 2018, which is significantly decentralizing government, not by profession, not by saying, pronouncing, but in practice, real devolution of power is happening. At the local level, authorities are now seeing themselves exercising the authority that they have on the books, dispensing leadership at the local level. Maybe the clergymen forgot. Maybe the clergymen forgot that the hard road has been reimposed, the megawatts have been increased, the electricity is fast becoming stable than ever before. Maybe the clergymen forgot. Maybe the clergymen forgot that the ice-moving machines are coming in the country progressively, and that counties are becoming hopeful that those machines will soon be on the road. In fact, at this point, we are in a ministry for no cars and issuing no mouth. Probably, my dear clergymen forgot. Maybe he also forgot that transparency, accountability, and integrity is now the hallmark of governance in our country, and that government officials, government employees, everybody together is accounting for his or her stewardship. I am very sure, my dear brother, the clergyman forgot. Oh yes, let me remind the clergyman that Liberia is also a member of the Security Council, UN Security Council as a non-permanent member. It's the first time. Maybe he forgot. Increasing our national, international, and global profile. Maybe he forgot. Major commodities prices are reducing thanks to our illustrious Vice President, who is working 24/7 around the clock to make sure that the economic conditions of the people are improved based on requests from his boss, our dear President, Joseph Yuma Boakai Senior. Maybe the president forgot. Maybe the president forgot that for the first time in the history of Liberia, National Public Service Day celebration has been moved from Monrovia to his own county, the great Nimba County. Today that he has the opportunity to address this forum. Probably he even forgot that he's addressing the forum. Maybe. Thank you. Thank you, the people of ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Vice President, today it is with profound honor, pride, and gratitude that I welcome all of you to the National Commemoration of Public Service Day 2026 in this historic city of Sanniquellie, Nimba County. Today marks a significant milestone in Liberia's public service and governance reform journey, as this important national celebration is being observed outside Montserrat County for the first time. The decision to bring this national event to Nimba County is not symbolic. It is a practical demonstration of President Joseph Yuma Boakai's unwavering commitment to decentralization, inclusive governance, and bringing government closer to the people. It reflects a growing recognition that national development must be experienced by citizens in every county, in every district, in every town, and in every city and community across Liberia. This year's celebration carries special significance as we gather in one of Liberia's most historically important counties. Established on July 26, 1964, during the administration of President William B. S. Tubman, Nimba County was created alongside Bon, Lofa, and Grand Juliet counties as part of a major national decentralization and administrative reform initiative. Today, we, with a population of 621,084 841,000 according to the 2022 National Population and Housing Census. Nimba stands as Liberia's second most populous county after Maserati. Beyond its demographic significance, Nimba occupies a unique place in Liberia's economic, political, and diplomatic history. The country's rich iron ore deposits have transformed Liberia into one of Africa's leading mineral exporting nations, while the historic Sanniquellie Conference of 1959 brought together Presidents William V. S. Tubman of Liberia, Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, and Ahmed Sékou Touré of Guinea in a landmark gathering that helped lay the foundation for the creation of the Organization of African Unity in 1963, now the African Union. It is therefore fitting that this historic county now hosts a celebration dedicated to honoring the men and women whose daily service sustains our beloved nation. Public service itself has a rich and distinguished history. The observance traces its origins in the first Pan-African Conference of Ministers responsible for public and civil service held in Tangier, Morocco, in June 1994. During that historic conference, African ministers adopted a resolution proclaiming June 23 of each year as African Public Service Day. The day was established to recognize the value and the virtue of public service, promote professionalism and ethical conduct, strengthen governance systems, improve public administration, and celebrate the indispensable contributions of public servants to national development. Over the years, the observance has evolved into one of Africa's most important governance platforms, fostering innovation, knowledge sharing, institutional learning, and citizen-centered service delivery across our dear continent. The significance of the day was further elevated on December 20th, 2002, when the United Nations General Assembly adopted Resolution 57/277, officially proclaiming June 23 as United Nations Public Service Day. Since then, countries around the world have joined in celebrating the dedication, sacrifice, and achievements of public servants whose work strengthens institutions, advances development, promotes peace and stability, and improves citizens' lives. Liberia joined other nations in commemorating Public Service Day and has continued to observe the occasion annually to recognize the vital role public servants play in building and sustaining prosperous, democratic, and accountable society. The day remains important because it reminds us that effective governance, sustainable development, and national transformation are only possible through competent institutions and dedicated public servants. Our dynamic Vice President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today, as we celebrate Public Service Day in Sanniquellie, we also celebrate your administration's bold vision for decentralization and public sector transformation. Under your leadership, the Civil Service Agency has embarked upon one of the most ambitious decentralization programs in its history, ensuring that civil service services and support systems are no longer concentrated in Monrovia, but are progressively extended throughout the Republic. As part of this historic undertaking, the Civil Service Agency successfully renovated and dedicated its regional office in Choppenburg, Bomi County, which now serves as a regional hub for Bomi, Grand Cape Mount, and Bapolu counties. In Grand Juda County, land has been allocated and fully surveyed for the construction of a regional office in Suwaibu City that will provide services to Grand Jude, River G, Grand Crew, Maryland, and Sano counties. We are particularly grateful that the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning has committed the necessary resources for the construction of this important facility. Similarly, in Bond County, the requisite land has been allocated and surveyed for the construction of the first ever Civil Service Agency regional headquarters in Bana City. We remain grateful to Senator Prince K. Moy, the chairman of the Bond County Legislative Caucus, who officially broke ground for this transformational project. And we also want to say thanks to the superintendent, Laudia Hawa Norris, who is here today, for making the land available and the leadership. Once completed, this regional headquarters will serve Bond, Nimba, and local counties and significantly improve access to civil service services throughout Central and Northern Liberia. We are pleased to report that resources for this project have already been budgeted and made available. In Grand Bassa County, the county administration has generously allocated 2 acres of land for the establishment of another regional office that will serve both Grand Bassa and Riverside counties. We remain optimistic that, consistent with the government's demonstrated commitment to decentralization, resources will likewise be secured to enable the timely construction of this important regional facility. Mr. Vice President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, these achievements are tangible evidence that this decentralization agenda is no longer a policy aspiration, but a practical reality unfolding across Liberia. They represent a fundamental shift in how government engages citizens and delivers public services. Through your leadership, Liberians are beginning to witness a new model of governance that prioritizes accessibility, efficiency, accountability, and responsiveness. Permit me to express on behalf of the Civil Service Agency and the thousands of public servants across Liberia our profound gratitude for your visionary leadership, unwavering support, and steadfast commitment to transforming the Liberian public service. We are equally grateful to the Honorable Augustine Behegafon, the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, and his dedicated team for their consistent partnership and support in translating these transformative initiatives from vision to reality. The truth is simple. Liberia's public service is no longer where it was 2 years ago. Across government, significant progress has been achieved in workforce management, in accountability systems, institutional modernization, human resource reforms, payroll integrity, professionalism, decentralization, and service delivery. While much work remains ahead of us, the direction is clear, the foundation is stronger, and the results are becoming increasingly visible. Today, we celebrate not only what has been accomplished, but also what lies ahead of us. We celebrate the teachers educating our children, the health workers saving lives, the security officers protecting our communities, the agriculture workers supporting food production, the engineers building infrastructure, the administrators managing government institutions, and every public servant whose daily contributions sustain our beloved republic. As we commemorate Public Service Day 2026 under the theme Enhancing Public Service Institutions and Empowering Multi-Stakeholder Partnerships to Achieve Universal Water Availability and Safe Sanitation by 2063, we do so with confidence, optimism, and determination. We are confident because we have a president who understands public service. We are optimistic because we have an administration committed to reform, and we are determined because we know that a modern, professional, merit-based, and citizen-centered public service remains one of the most powerful instruments for national transformation. Together, your leadership, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, we will continue to build a public service that is responsive, is accountable, innovative, is decentralized, is capable of meeting the aspirations of every Liberian citizens. Now, Mr. Vice President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the wisdom and call to action by our dynamic and illustrious President, His Excellency Joseph Juma Boakai Sr. Today I say to all of us, on this historic day, let us continue to take Liberia. Of course, let's continue to love Liberia. And indeed, let us continue to build Liberia as we commemorate this historic day.